Greetings, ghouls. I've been dying to have you. My name is Megan, and even though I might not look it right now, I'm a trad goth as well as a professional pastry sous chef. This is a new series on my channel where I'll be discussing cryptids and urban legends while teaching you how to cook, but mostly bake, at the same time. If that does sound like something that you may be interested in, please do consider subscribing, as the algorithm would really help me out and help my small channel grow. I will also put down below the links to my personal Instagram as well as my professional for my small business, Take a Whisk. Now, without further ado, let's get started. For my very first cryptid, I thought I would talk about a monster that's said to live here in my very own state, the Florida swamp monster. I'm actually doing a lot of prep work for upcoming farmers market booths, which will actually take up the next 3 days of my time, so might as well get started. And I'm actually making some banana bread right now. Right now I'm just adding my eggs, and I personally like to use bananas that are a little bit past their prime. The natural sugars in the bananas will let out more easily while they're being mixed with the other ingredients. While the bananas, eggs, and sugar are mixing, let's learn a little history. 1866, allegedly, there was a settler that dug a channel between a lake and the ocean, which by 1877 had transformed into what's known as a saltwater lagoon. That's something that's actually kind of common here in Florida, by the way. In August of 2009, two people by the names of Greg Reynolds and Dan Serrano, who were representatives of the Lagoon Keepers, a nonprofit organization in Palm Bay County, were doing their jobs one day, as one does, and were sent to recover a log from the Lake Worth Lagoon. By the time they got there and were retrieving the said log, they noticed something a little strange. This log not only looked bizarre, but it also seemed to be alive. Once your bananas, granulated sugar, and eggs are all mixed together until very smooth, it's time to add the rest of your wet ingredients. Well, I just dropped my cap. Now I have to wash it. That was unfortunate. Going to add some pure vanilla extract, a canola or vegetable oil of your choice, and you're going to add some milk. I actually choose to use oat milk in a grand majority of my recipes because a lot of people do have lactose intolerance, and I want them to be able to enjoy my creations when I go to the farmers markets. However, regular milk works fine as well. I actually recommend for baking using 1 or 2%. Now we're going to let that mix again for the next couple of minutes until nice and fluffy. So every time Reynolds and Serrano went within 10 feet to retrieve that log would dive further down into the water. Serrano would later go on to quote, "I didn't know what it was. It was like, hey, look," and we moved over and saw it. It was different, very different, and it was an unusual wake. We saw it move along, creating some deep ripples, then it just dipped deeper underwater. Reynolds, who was the one that was shooting the video, believed it to be a sea monster, which he then later uploaded onto the company's website. As in the modern times, within 3 days, this video went quite viral. It wasn't long until that new nickname of the Muck Monster was born. That was Moose's tail, by the way. Reynolds was then to later quote, "Channel marker 10 is the first time we saw the unknown creature. I hollered out, and it said, 'What is that?' We followed it, started taking video. It's not a shark or a manatee. Sharks would have their fins above the water. This was something much different." Now that all of the banana lumps are out of the way, we're going to add our dry ingredients. Typically with what's known as quick breads, which is a bread that you can mix and bake into the oven, I prefer to use all-purpose flour. I'm also going to add some sea salt, baking powder, and baking soda. Are these not the most adorable little measuring spoons? I got these off of Joann's, not sponsored, last year after Halloween ended, so I got them on mega sale. I personally also love to add some cinnamon and nutmeg to my banana bread, as I believe that these flavors just mesh really well together. So here we go. You're gonna go ahead and mix all of that until just combined. Your batter is going to roughly look like this. Make sure to spray your pans, and you can use any kind of pan that you would like. So soon enough, that video did become a world sensation, even going as far as to reaching major news groups like NBC and Fox. The Muck Monster actually became so famous that it made it into David Letterman's top 10 list. Another quote, which follows, "The phone keeps ringing. It showed up on CNN, Coast to Coast Radio, 95.5 Wild Morning Show, K-Rock out of Fort Myers. It's everywhere. Just do a little search on Muck Monster and it comes up in every corner of the world." And it certainly did. And as things typically go when they become famous, merchandise as well as paid tours started to become available to the public. To quote, "We're going to have a naming contest. We'll also have a feeding station which will have fish pellets, I think it's prehistoric personally, and a lot of people agree with me. Reynolds himself was trying to turn the publicity into more funding for the nonprofit company by making t-shirts saying, "I am not the Muck Monster." But he did insist that all of the proceeds went directly to helping the lagoon keepers to maintain the beautiful area and the water. Even so, the phenomenon of the eyewitnesses didn't stop there. In fact, a restaurant was opened. The local tiki bar and sea grill started selling an item called the Muck Monster Special. To complete the dish, they even made a cocktail called the Muck Monster. Throughout the years, even to today, there have been multiple alleged sightings of the famous Muck Monster, which has even gone as far as to going through CNN. Legitimate crypto investigators have also taken it upon themselves to investigate the waters for a glimpse of finding this magical monster. When it comes to baking your banana bread, I actually prefer to do it at a temperature of 335 degrees Fahrenheit. Reason being, I'm going to give you some science here, is because when you bake cakes and quick breads at a higher temperature, that high temperature is actually what creates those mounds, which we definitely don't want, because then we end up having to trim it, which creates waste. A lower temperature helps keep that mound at a more flat rate, so you get to have a nice slow build without wasting any product. So what exactly is this Florida Muck Monster supposed to look like? Depending who you ask, it has taken on multiple forms. The first can be a serpent-like creature, while the second form is quite literally a pile of swamp muck and debris. I don't know, but to me, we do have quite a few manatees, water moccasins, alligators, things of that nature, constantly in the water. I'm not saying that I don't believe this one. However, I just feel like people don't really know just how yucky the waters can get sometimes here. I mean, I don't know. We have 67 natural springs here in Florida, which actually provide crystal clear waters, whereas lagoons and swamp waters, oh no, that water is nasty. So maybe they did see something, maybe they didn't. I've only ever been to Palm Bay County once, so I don't really know what to expect, but I don't know. You're gonna have to let me know what you guys think of this one. I have lived here now for a decade and I haven't seen a dang thing. But to seriously have a restaurant dedicate meals and cocktails for this alleged Muck Monster, come on, that's hilarious. I kind of honestly want to get a t-shirt. You actually can still buy them online, I found. So Merry Christmas, the holidays are coming, right? Oh, you know what? Or maybe, fun fact here, what actually turned out to be manatees were what Columbus once thought were ugly mermaids. So maybe in the nasty swamp water, they could have actually been alligators that just accumulated a lot of algae growth. Maybe that's what that was. I have thoughts. I have so many questions, but I don't have any answers. But that is the story of the legendary Florida Muck Monster. I would honestly love to know what your thoughts may be. Have you actually seen the Muck Monster? Have you even heard of it? What do you think it may or may not have been? Do you think it's real? Do you want to get a t-shirt? I sure do. I hope that you liked the very first episode. I'm so sorry that it took this long to get it done. I ended up moving in the middle of October. I didn't even get to decorate for Halloween, by the way, which is my favorite holiday, so boo. But I'm here now. Yay, finally. And I'm so excited to finally get this started. I really do hope that you guys are going to enjoy this new series. And of course, the moment we were all waiting for. Oh, yum. I can't wait to start to devour these. I do have to sell them this weekend, but at least I get one for myself. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hugs and hisses.